Hey everybody, this is Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia, bringing you with another segment of A Word with the World. And we happen to be on location here in beautiful downtown Trenton at the Classic Used Bookstore. And we have their owner here, Mr. Eric Maywar.
Yep.
How you doing today?
Good to meet you.
Hey,
Co-owner, my wife would be mad if I didn't.
Oh, okay, I appreciate you putting that out. Definitely don't want to get the missus mad. But I appreciate you letting us come to your shop. You have a beautiful shop. Definitely being an avid book lover myself, this is like, I wish I had this in my home, especially with all the classic books that you have here. Some that you can't find
We can do that at a really good price.
There you go. You can't beat that. So today we're just going to have an interview with Eric discussing his business, his thoughts as a business owner, and how he views Trenton. You know, Trenton is definitely being the capital of New Jersey, a very metropolitan area. It's a lot of things going on here that most people don't know about. So we're definitely going to get some insight today on that. So, Eric, how about we just start off with just a quick bio about yourself?
Sure. So, I'm from Michigan. My wife's from Trenton, so one of us had to move, and she wasn't dealing with winter. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
And so came here almost 30 years ago now.
Okay.
And 20 years ago, I was working a couple of jobs, but 20 years ago we opened up our first bookstore, and it was in New Hope. But 5 years after that, we came to Trenton, and we've been here ever since.
Awesome. Any kids?
Yeah, 2 kids. One in college, one in high school.
Beautiful. So, man, a move from Michigan to New Jersey. Wow.
Yeah, down here in the South.
Yeah. Wow. Like that's a big leap, but it's beautiful. You got the family, you have the business. It's an awesome thing that you was able to set up here in New Jersey. So, as we already mentioned, you're a business owner. Obviously, we're here at the Classic Used Bookstore. So how about we provide the viewers a little insight on how you started the business, developed it?
Sure, it was kind of an accident, weirdly.
Oh.
My wife and I went to a church in town, and they were having a sale to raise money for something at the church.
Oh, okay.
And we had run into another church where the person was leaving. He had 3 bookcases of books. And I said, "Hey, can I buy these from you, and I'll sell them at the other church event. We'll raise some money." But we sold like 3 books. So now I've got all these books in my living room. We said, "Now what are we going to do?" I said, "Let's just sell them at Columbus Flea Market."
Okay.
We can do that. And we were doing really well, but we would always come home with more books than we sold, because at the end of the day, people would say, "Here, take these books."
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got 10, 12 bookcases, and we set them up in our basement. We start inviting other used bookstore owners to come, and we have some wine, we play some Scrabble, and they buy them all wholesale.
Oh.
And, after a while, it just kept escalating until people were saying, "When are you going to open up your own store? This is, quit playing around." So.
Yeah, that's pretty pretty neat process of going through that. Definitely took a positive out of a negative, because most people would look at it like, "Man, I'm overwhelmed with all these books.
Right.
What am I going to do with it?"
Going right in the garbage.
But then, pretty much. But then you turned it into a nice shop and able to allow other people to enjoy the books.
When we started thinking seriously about it, of course, then we have all the stuff, we're doing this wholesale sales. Mm-hmm. Then we put together a business plan, and I was working at a market research firm, so as a going away present, they came and did a feasibility study in New Hope, like we did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, then we got serious. So we sort of went by the seat of our pants for a while, and then we got serious, did a business plan, and figured it all out.
Start putting procedures and
That's
protocols in place.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So let's elaborate a little bit more on that, because obviously it's pretty much common knowledge. There's a lot of components involved in running a business and maintaining it. So, in your opinion, what are the more important factors when it comes to operating a business?
All businesses are so different, but getting that business plan together, it sounds like homework. Yes. But really, it helps map out those things that you weren't even thinking about. Like, you can sit down with the Small Business Development Center, and they'll walk you through, so what are you going to do about insurance? Well, I didn't really think about it, or what are you going to do about, what's your inventory control? What are you going to do at the point of sale? I don't even know what that is. Like it's, so it's a whole education just putting that together. And then you test it. The business plan it isn't one and done. It's like always changing. So you make assumptions like, this is what I think an average sale is going to be, or this is how much I think I'm going to make in a day. But at the end of a year, then you go back and say, okay, were any of those things right that I thought was going to happen, and compare it, and how can we improve these things? And, we still do. Like we do shelf analysis, what sections sell, what sections don't sell. We shrink the ones that aren't selling, like it's a continual process of figuring out what's good for the business.
And also, too, you got to also take in consideration about your competitors, like what they're doing compared to what you're doing.
That's right.
And if it looks like sales are deviating more their way, obviously you got to think of a marketing strategy on how to endorse your business, promote your business. The
good thing about used bookstores is we almost have no competitors. Our biggest competitors are libraries, and they're not even businesses, right? That's where can you get inexpensive books that might be out of print? That's like Barnes and Noble's not a competitor. Yeah. There's they kind of overlap, but the circle of people that like new books and the circle of people that like used books aren't the same group of people sometimes. Right. Like some people, my parents won't go in a used bookstore unless their son owns it. But there are used bookstore people who won't go into Barnes and Nobles. They don't want to pay full price. They don't want, they want the idea they're going to find something sort of hidden, something that's out of print and special, something rare. And in Barnes and Nobles, you go if you read the New York Times book review and you really need that book that's out right now, that's where you go. So sometimes the people you think are competitors aren't really competitors, but you do have to keep an eye on it and see who your real competitors are.
And that's some great insight for anybody who's aspiring to be a business owner themselves. I know with me, a business plan is very important too for I'm a fellow business person as well, is for investors. I'm always looking for people to invest into the business. Yeah. And one thing that was a main criteria that was told to me is to do what is called a SWOT analysis. Yes. Where you kind of just be honest about your business as far as its pros, its cons, its weaknesses, and its strengths. That's right. And I think some people kind of overlook that. Yes. And they just see like, hey, I'm a business owner. Yes. I'm operating, so I really don't have any kind of weaknesses. Right. I'm pretty much going with the flow. That's right. Instead of just kind of looking everything at a big picture scope.
That's right. Sometimes they call that magical thinking. Yeah. You play poker? If you play poker, is a lot of times you'll get a hand and you'll have, 4 parts of a flush. Boy, if I had the 5th part of this flush, I would win. So I'm gonna put all my money in, but you never get that part of the. You gotta be a little more strategic about it and figure it out. And people do that with businesses too. They get this magical thinking. I'm gonna open up, and we've got really good taste in antiques, or whatever it is. Well, that's not quite the same thing as having a business plan and keeping an eye on things. So yes, SWOT analysis, super important.
Very important. So I also noticed too with your business that you incorporate various events, specifically like book signing events. Sure. Yeah. To promote different authors in the area. So what does it mean to you that you're able to provide this platform for your artists so they can showcase their talent?
It's great. We've got both we've got artists, and then we've got some clubs that meet here regularly, a Scrabble club, a knitting club. There's an open mic. Okay. My wife at one point said we were more a Scrabble game with a bookstore around it than we were a bookstore with it, because those folks, they're not just customers, they become friends, they become sort of part of your life. I had two of the Scrabble players, we married them. Like I had to go get my preacher's license so I could be the officiant in their wedding. Awesome. And one of them, they did it in the bookstore. Like it becomes very sort of a real community. Yeah. And so that's great. So all of those groups, the authors and the club members, the poets from the open mic, they're family, and that's great. It's nice to be hanging out with people that you love. So.
That's awesome to build that kind of continuity and relationships with people, your customers. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it makes your business thrive. You know what I mean? People know what to expect with their business, especially when it comes from ownership.
That's right.
Who's operating the business. That means a lot to people. It feels like a safeguard for them. Yes. You know what I mean? And it seems like your business is definitely a staple in the community. So bringing people together is always a positive.
That's right. Yep. You know, we early on, we got some support from the Princeton Area Community Foundation. They were trying to support groups and businesses that were building community, and they had a particular way that they measured that building the community. Like, you had to have events that it wasn't people sitting in seats and watching something, but that people could talk and they could share ideas and resources if they had troubles. So sitting around the Scrabble table, we had two or three people get jobs at the table. Like, they would say, yeah, I'm really looking for work, and somebody else said, I'm going to talk to my boss, and you know, like, those kind of things happen. Or the knitting club deciding to knit helmet, the things that go inside the helmets for folks in Afghanistan, the troops that were in Afghanistan. So they would identify problems and try to solve them in ways that are more organic, and you know, just regular people trying to solve problems.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. So let's just get a little bit of your insight for the city of Trenton, and what do you think about what fascinates you about the city of Trenton?
Well, a bunch of stuff. Like, it's I love Trenton. I think I told you we started our business in New Hope, and we did this analysis during the summer, and we said, oh, this is going to be great for a bookstore. But then we found out, we talk about always going back to your business plan, we found out that it is great in the summer, but then you have 9 months of nobody coming, because New Hope's very much a summer town. So we were very happy to move to Trenton, where if you get a customer, you see them all year round. Yeah. And whether that's somebody that works downtown, or more importantly, people that live here in Trenton, you know, they will, it's a more consistent sort of thing. And I don't think everybody sees that. You know, I think everybody thought, the way I did before we opened up the store, that like New Hope would be much better for business. Well, that's not really true, because you don't have the consistency, and you also don't have the population density. I think New Hope has 1,000 people living there, and Trenton has almost 90,000 people. So not everybody reads books, but so you're playing a numbers game, and so having more people nearby is much better for your business than being where there aren't folks. So that's one thing that surprised me about Trenton, which is great. But the people here are just fantastic. I guess that didn't really surprise me, because I knew a bunch of them anyways, but it's some people get surprised, like, well, our Scrabble nights are Friday night, sometimes we're here until 10 o'clock, sometimes we're here until midnight. You know, people say, oh, you're in Trenton until midnight? I can't, but you know, can't believe it. I say, yeah, well, everybody can't be as tough as Scrabble players. I mean,
But that's great that you have that going on here in Trenton. I know, coming from Millville, we're more south.
Yeah.
You know, going toward the coast. So that's definitely, through my business, I'm trying to create more platforms to try to get more communities involved and whatnot. But, you know, certain people are just a little hard as nails, you know what I mean? They're kind of set in their ways, don't really want to do too much.
Yeah.
Not really branch out outside of what they normally do.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear, and kind of refreshing to hear, you hear that going on in Trenton. You know, you have that kind of, like I mentioned before, that camaraderie with people.
Yes, yeah.
So let's finish out the interview with letting the viewers know what's going on new with you in the future and for your business.
Oh, well, that's a very good question. So we're coming out of the pandemic, so we had to make adjustments. Once again, going back to that business plan, we had to make adjustments, especially if there were a couple months where the governor said nobody can go into businesses. So how do you pay your rent when you're doing that? So we moved a lot of stuff online. We already sold on ABE Books and Amazon and eBay, but we started doing just sort of Facebook browsing. So somebody would say, show me what mysteries you've got, and then we go. I'd just take the phone and take a bunch of pictures or do a video of the mystery section, and then they would order and I would ship it to them. And so we had to invent a whole new arm of delivery.
And you also have the website.
That's right, and we have the website too, which we don't sell through that much, as it is just information about what's going on at the store. But now that we're coming out of the pandemic, we're going to see another shift. Like our groups that had moved online, they were doing Zoom poetry, they were doing that. Now they're starting to come back, which is great, so we've got to prepare for that. But then again, we have another wave sneaking up, so we've got to, you know, anyways, there's always changes in what's going on.
Always something going on.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, it's beautiful. You got your business operating. Keep the community together. You know what I mean? The pandemic was really a doozy for a lot of people.
Yes.
You know what
yep.
I mean? It
Yeah,
was hard
not
for a
everybody
lot of
made
people.
it through. That's right.
Exactly. So it's good to see that you and your business and your family made it through.
Yeah.
Good through that. So, again, Eric, I definitely appreciate it. It was an honor having this interview here in your business. Appreciate you allowing me to do this. I'm going to put the link in the bio for the video, so definitely check this out. The website, as well as please come down to 4 West Lafayette Street here in Trenton. If you're an avid book lover, please don't leave Trenton without stopping here at Classic Youth Books with Eric Maywar. And again, Eric, I appreciate.
Oh, thank you. It was nice of you to take the time to come down and
Definitely.
and talk. That's been
Definitely.
great.
It's always great to talk to another business owner, get just a little bit of more insight and perspective on things. So, again, this is Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia, give you another segment of A Word with the World. And till next time.